Hello and welcome to today's video in which I'm going to be adding to my collection of Christmas tree decorations, and today I'm going to be making a little Christmas pudding. So to start, I'm just going to clean down my work surface as always, and I'm going to be using Fimo today. I'm aware that I've been using Sculpey a lot, but I've ordered in some of the red glitter just to compare what it's like with the Sculpey Accents red glitter. So here's my red glitter clay, and I'll just go over with my acrylic roller here. And I just thought I'd give you a little close-up of the clay, and it's really heavily glittered actually, but the glitter's quite subtle, so it's really nice. So I'm using my flower shape cookie cutter tool again, really because most of the decorations I've made so far are this shape too, so it's nice just to keep a kind of little bit of uniformity to them, I guess. But you can use whatever shape you like really. And to ensure that the edges are neat, I'm going to go round with my small ball tool here and my fingers just to neaten down any edges. And to ensure that it hangs on the tree rather nicely, I'm going to pop in just 2 holes here, again with my small ball tool, and details of the tools that I use can be found below. I'll give it a little clean with my wet wipe. And I'm moving on to the actual Christmas pudding here, so I've got a mid-tone brown clay. And I just need to ensure that's the size that I want before I move on. And here you'll see some really pretty old brown Fimo clay, and it's gone quite hard, but for the purposes of this tutorial it's actually really handy. I'm just going to cut out some really tiny pieces here, and this will give my Christmas pudding a little bit of texture really. So I'll just make sure I've got lots of teeny tiny pieces on my work surface here. And basically I'll just start dabbing the little round piece of clay I have over them. So there we go, and it kind of looks like a truffle at this point. So just press those pieces in a little more firmly. So I'm going to move on to some cream clay here to create the Brandy Cream at the top of my Christmas pudding. So just going to stretch this little circle out bits and then just shape it with my scalpel here into some nice kind of drippy shapes. And I'll just neaten that down with my fingers, like so. And then that just basically attaches to the top. Just spend a few seconds just to ensure that it's in place. I'll just pat that down with my wet wipe. So I want to create some little holly leaves, so I've got some green clay here. And I'll just cut out some very basic holly shapes, and these don't need to be terribly neat to be honest, because they're so small, it doesn't really matter too much. Just as long as you can get the idea that they're holly leaves really. So I'm just going to put everything in place now, so my Christmas pudding is attached. And I'll add the teeny tiny holly leaves. And it needs some berries I think, so I'll add some again in the red glitter clay. There we go. And because I think it needs a little bit more detail really, I'm going to use some of the cream coloured clay and make a basic pattern around the edges really. So that's the last piece. And to create a little bit more contrast, I'm going to do the same with the green polymer clay. And this is just Fimo Professional, but you can of course use whatever clay you fancy really. So I think that makes it pop a little more, don't you? So I'm happy with the positioning and the design of my little Christmas tree decoration, so it's ready to bake. And at this point you'll need to refer to your own brand of Polymer Glaze baking instructions. So now my Christmas tree decoration is baked and cooled. I'm going to add just a tiny amount of Sculpey Glaze just to the holly and the berries. And now I can just pop through some festive thread really, just to ensure that it attaches to my tree. I'll just pop in a couple of knots. And there we go, it's all done. And just to compare it against the Sculpey clay, I'd say that the Sculpey clay is more of a true red, whereas the Fimo red has more of a, dare I say, a blue tone to it, ever so slightly, but they're both really good clays however. And if you'd like some further Christmas craft tutorials, I've just the playlist for you down below, and yeah, I'll see you soon, bye bye.